Yeah, multimedia means to produce different audio and video packages, but it can also include like fun interactive infographics or zines or things that are other forms of media that we're bringing to our traditional kind of print paper sort of setup or our like online space. So it's a still very much evolving and flexible medium because it incorporates so much media, if that makes sense.
As a reporter, you receive pitches or stories from your editors. You talk to people, you interview people, you experience things, and then you just get to write about it. And it sounds simplistic, it gets a little complicated.
We basically translate right now, especially news stories on the online website. So we basically get stories that are published online and we try to make them sound as natural while still being professional in Spanish.
Right now I manage the news desk. We have, I think, 6 to 7 consistent reporters. We report on things like all of the Way Hall protests that have just been happening and the different student protests that have been happening, events happening on campus that are newsworthy, events happening within the community that are newsworthy, town council, SGA, things like that.
Because Watauga County sits in the middle of a news drought, the Appalachian serves as a news source for both the campus community and the town of Boone as a whole.
I think it's helpful to marry the Boone community with Appalachian State as much as possible. They are, while separate entities, kind of inextricably tied together.
Compared to a regular collegiate paper where you kind of just cover what your sports team did that day or what club is doing something cool this weekend, things like that. We definitely do, kind of like I mentioned, a lot of outreach into other communities because we do serve other communities.
Boone has a Hispanic community that is pretty large and a lot of people don't know about, and they don't really have a real source of news other than App TV's Buenos Dias Boone. So by the Appalachian adding a translation desk, it just gives this community another source for local news, which is like super important that they otherwise wouldn't have.
So we are in a bit of a news desert. We got a couple of newspapers up here, like the Watauga Democrat, there's us, High Country Press, things like that. But at the same time, a lot of newspapers nowadays are underfunded, understaffed, and so the people who do work for those news stations are having to report as much as they can at all times. And so a lot of the times that can end up looking like things like press releases being reported on as just, taking the press release and publishing it to get it to a wider audience. However, it's important to delve into the story with all the different sources, all the different people, and so that's my main goal with News Desk, is that we're never just, taking something that's been given to us and republishing it. We're always reaching out to more people, discussing all of the different angles.
When people are able to have a face-to-face conversation, obviously that's number one on proactive communication, right? But with multimedia, we can kind of provide a facsimile of that, where at least people can see the person's face. It's not just a little staff profile. It's not just a little blurb or a name. It is a living, breathing person, and I think being able to hear a voice or see a video of someone allows for so much more empathy than just reading a block of text does. And I think that can be instrumental on both sides, both giving the community more of a vision into who people on campus are and giving people on campus a look into our wider food community.